We are live.
Finally, again.
Exactly.
I think that we have promoted this after work as being the one where we start trying the Christmas beer assortments from the Swedish state. What's it called? Systembolaget. There is no English name because there is no other place where they have it.
No, there's no other place where they have monopoly for the beer market.
No.
Yeah, if we would be in the US, there would probably be some banners for this for the beer that we're drinking, but not now. But I'm drinking Fuller's Old Winter, and it's my first Christmas beer of the season.
Nice. And the same for me. I have stacked up a lot of Christmas beers. I like trying them out. This is a winter warmer. Tomtebloss. I tried it last year. I have my Christmas beer spreadsheet, and I think I gave it 3.5. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Every year you always try some Christmas beer that are really good and some that are terrible.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's no correlation between price and how good they are either. Like there could be some some experimental ones that are super bad and cost like 50 crowns.
I bought one. Sorry.
No, I saw one today in the store from Dugges that cost like 90 crowns. That's insane.
How big was it?
No, just a can.
My God.
That's the most expensive one I've seen. Otherwise, they have these big ones, like 1.5 liter or liter, and they are expensive, but very nice.
Yeah, I bought one that cost 90, but that's 75 milliliters at least. So, and it was quite strong as well. So, let's see how that one is.
Yeah.
But this one's called Tomtebloss. I need to check what Tomtebloss is in English. Sparkler. So let's see if we have sparks in it then.
Yeah. And for those of you thinking that is it good?
No, it smells. It smells like fruity. Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like for those of you that think we are very early with the Christmas beer, I just want to say that I embrace the Christmas quarter, and that you could the things you like you could start enjoy when they appear in the shelf.
I agree. I agree with you on that. We're grown-ups. We do what we want.
Yeah.
So how have you been doing since last time? What are you up to? Not that I don't know, but for the viewers.
I don't remember what I did last time, or I think we sent somewhere in, maybe it was October or September. It feels like we said that we were going to do one like 2 weeks after, and then we postponed it for 1 or 2 months. I don't know. But yeah, continues to develop the platform, continue to be a part of Beko Häcken scouting team, and continue to work in analytic projects for the Swedish FA, and probably much more. Continue to try to be a better long distance runner.
Nice. How is that going?
I think it's going good. It feels like I'm training less than I did before the marathon, but like after the marathon, when I started training less, but still, like I still run a couple of times a week, so I still run a lot, but I became a better runner. So I don't know if I think I had a good form when I ran the marathon, but maybe I hit the peak a little bit too late. I don't know.
Okay. No, but I think that makes sense. I think that's something that you get with experience of it. Just it's really not that easy to taper, and I think it's a bit of an individual. A bit individual as well. what
Yeah.
you can do and how and also actually my experience is that it's a bit different depending on age as well, how much recovery you need before and how hard you can train up until the race.
That makes sense. And but maybe for my
I
second
personally have
marathon.
actually because I personally have more like done the opposite. I think I more than once have tapered a bit too early.
Yeah.
So I've been like top shape a few weeks ahead of it instead.
Yeah. For next time we'll see because I planned my peak about a month before the marathon, and I did that, but I think maybe I should have run like, I don't know, a bit easier. Maybe I ran too much on a high pulse after that, even though I didn't run like as many long distance runs. But yeah, that comes from experience. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, should we dig
and
into
also
the
of course the and the Häcken. Just tell me a little bit about the Häcken, what you do there, because I think that's really exciting, and of course a good transition to what we're going to do today, more than drinking Christmas beer.
Yeah, for sure. And since we're gonna dig into a scouting tool that I use at Häcken as an example. So no, but since when the summer window started, and then we signed a new contract after the transfer window, but I've been a part of BK Häcken scouting team, so I'm the data recruitment analyst or data scout, or what do you call it? So what I do, I do several things, but you could sum it up to two things: that I'm acting as a filter for all the tips that we receive from agents or other clubs, or and see if we should move on to the player, if they fit the Häcken player profile, and if they're good enough, and so on, or if they could be good enough, so that we are able to scout more good players more efficiently. And then also on scanning the markets that we could recruit from, and making lists and reports of interesting players that we could scout further in the scouting team. Cool. Now we have a couple of a couple of positions that we might recruit on, so we're doing preparation work for that now before the window opens. So
when does the window open? Is it the 1st of January?
I should know this, but I like internationally it is. But I don't want to swear anymore, because they changed so that the window should be longer in the summer and shorter in the winter. So I don't know if they're waiting. The Swedish Open window now opens later since they did that. But my boss Martin knows for sure. So
my reference is always Football Manager.
Yeah,
and I think in general in Football Manager it's the 1st of January, right?
Yeah, and it's been that for Sweden, but I don't know if we are like. I'm gonna see now. It opens closed. No, I don't want. I want to know when it opens. Now winter. Okay. The Swedish transfer window is opening. Yeah. Okay, can't see it there. This is a good stream. Okay, it actually opened February the 1st, so not January the 1st.
Okay. Good to know.
That's actually kind of smart also, like, because before it was January the 1st to March the 28th, but now they moved it 1 month, and like since. Okay, I guess you want to have. In one sense, it's smart, because if it opens when the European window is closed, then players can't move to other European leagues anymore. But they can move to Sweden. So, in that sense, it's quite good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So you have like a depth chart then with the Häcken. So you have like if this player gets sold, we have 3 or 4 options like ready, or how does it work? I'm not sure how much to say.
It works exactly like that. So we have shadow team or depth chart on every position. Like we have it on the positions that it's highly like that we probably will recruit, and the positions that we are unlikely to recruit just to be ready. And that's the advantage of starting early and putting a good job like way before the window, that you could prepare for that, because you never know what happens during a transfer window. Like all of a sudden there could be an offer for a player that you didn't expect, and the player wants to move and we need someone new, or an injury or whatever. So preparation is key, I would say. But
Nice.
then we try to narrow it down to, like, if we have a list of I don't know, several players, we try to narrow it down to a few good candidates on every position. So you try to rank them,
Right.
and not only based on how good they are, also maybe based on how probable it is to recruit them.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable, I guess.
Yeah, because you could find star talents in Brazil that are 18, but they won't go to Sweden.
No, exactly. Only in Football Manager they can.
Yeah. Only Football Manager.
Yeah.
I want to know if I'm in the new Football Manager, but
you should be.
Maybe next year if I'm not in this one.
No, but I think you should be.
Yeah.
I
haven't bought it yet, but it's because then it will affect my work. Maybe during my Christmas holidays I will buy it. We'll see.
So I wouldn't mind discussing some American sports as well, but maybe we can do that while we look at the platform, because otherwise it might get a little bit boring.
Yeah, it sounds good. Should I start? Or
so let's start talking NASCAR right away.
What if I start sharing the screen and you can have a monologue on NASCAR?
Great. So we had the final 4 of the playoffs. I really like the format. I think a lot of people that don't follow NASCAR think that it's super boring and that nothing happens. But I have to say that I think, without knowing, I would be surprised if you have any other motorsport with so many overtakes as you have in NASCAR over a race. So for me, it's the most exciting motorsport.
And that's interesting, because I used to like Formula 1, but then I think it's kind of not that exciting anymore. It's more of an engineering sport that decides in the preseason, and so I like the technology, but I don't think it's that exciting to watch the races anymore.
No, me neither. I watch the races that don't interfere with anything else that I want to see, but I have to say that I think NASCAR is much more interesting, because they have 3 segments of the race, so they're actually handing out points over 3 times over the race. So that's like a bit like Tour de France or cycling, where you have stages over the course, so you can actually win points over several times. And another.
Have I told you that my cousin is a racer?
Yeah. But we haven't discussed that much. But yeah, I need to meet him.
Yeah, we should set it up sometimes. So he's both STCC and the World Tour, but he also
so cool.
He used to do the Porsche Carrera Cup as well.
That's really cool. Cool.
So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. No, but I really like the format, because it's also then we have the playoffs, where you can actually also see that's a really interesting format, because then every race gets really interesting up until the last race of the season, because you go from 16 drivers who can win the championship, and then you narrow that down to 8 drivers who can win the championship. Then you have like 4 races where these 8 drivers battle each other, and then you get down to a final 4. So the last race, you have 4 drivers who can win the championship. So that basically means that it will be exciting up until the last lap of the last race of the season. While in Formula One, you had like, it was done 10 races ago. So I definitely think that Formula One could look something into what NASCAR is doing if they want to keep the excitement going up until the last race of the season. I still think that Verstappen would have won because he's the best driver, and you can see that in NASCAR as well. You definitely had at least 2 or 3 of the best drivers who actually reached the final 4. But of course, it's a bit more random. But that's also, of course, really exciting.
Yeah, I like that. I think that was the thing in Porsche Carrera Cup ride as well, that they only have the same car, all of them. Or is it something else?
No, but they have the same cars. More or less in STCC or in the touring cars as well.
Yeah.
I think that the Swedish touring car was cancelled last year, but I hope they will start it again, and then they will go all electric.
Oh, okay.
So they will do all electric next year, I think. And that's really cool. I think that will be like the first championship that will be 100% electric when it comes to touring cars, at least.
That's
interesting. But when they had the touring car in Sweden, then it was if you won a race, they had 2 races per day, and if you won a race, they added weights to your car, so it would even out. So you could get like penalty weights if you were too fast. So that also is just to improve or to make it more competitive.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
So let's keep on talking NASCAR. No, sorry, but I also have to mention that my favorite driver won the championship. So I thought it was really exciting. Ryan Blaney.
That's I don't know who he is. I think I might recognize from a picture in our group chat, but yeah, I need to start watching NASCAR. I hear.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I've just I don't know why I have the Juventus theme. Like, I'm not a Juventus fan at all. I have to change that first. Which theme should I use? Like, I mainly use Playmaker Gold or...
Yeah, I like that as well.
So I'll do that.
Yeah.
Then I can go back to data sets. You see, I have a long list of data sets. I think I
Me too.
I think I will start deleting them. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to have several pages of data sets. I want more structure here, so I might.
I don't know how we're going to do that, because I mean how we're going to structure it in a good way. I think we need to think about that.
Yeah, we
like
have to.
How should we? Yeah, I think you could
do some kind of hashtags or some kind of filter search.
Yeah, labels, right?
Yeah, labels. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But I've already started generating data sets that I'm prepared to show you. But since my favorite league is the Veikkausliiga,
it's everyone's favorite league.
Yeah, it should be at least.
Yeah.
Then I think we're going to talk about the rating, but we're also going to talk about the action value, I think, because the rating is based on the action value.
Yeah.
So the action value is a machine learning model that evaluates all the actions that we collect for a football game, and they value them simply on how much do the player making the action increase the odds of the team scoring later in the possession chain, and decrease the odds of conceding a goal. So if you make a very valuable pass in the final third or into the penalty area, or you dribble the last defenders, so on, it's a high valued action. It could also be a defensive action where you stop a player in the penalty area who's going to shoot, or win the ball up high and start a counter attack and so on. That's a good action, but making a mistake as the last defender, losing the ball, is a very bad action, for example.
Yeah.
And then you get a sum. that we both have the action value per 90. That's just the average sum per 90 minutes. But you can also look at the frequency, or what do you say, the average per action. So, for example, a central midfielder could have a very high value per an average value per action. Or a midfielder could have a very high sum, but maybe a winger or a forward can have a very high average. And
right.
So a player that has a lot of ball and a lot of actions in the game, they maybe have a lower value because they make all the different kinds of actions. But the player high up in the field that maybe just makes the final pass or shoots a lot, they usually have a higher average if they're performing well, of course. And that's the definition of a good player.
Yeah.
I move on to the dashboard page. If you haven't seen our platform before, you generate the data sets on the data set page here, and then you go to dashboard, and here is where you use our business intelligence tool, almost like here's where you use the data and visualize it in the ways that you would like to. So I call this after work.
Before you continue, I just have to say that this one was maybe a 5-star beer.
Oh, really?
Christmas beer. Yeah, I think it's super well balanced and super fruity, but still a bit Christmassy. You can have it both to like the food, but you can also have it as a like beer you just want to drink. So super good. I will definitely buy more of this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that one for sure.
Yeah, do it.
So I made a plot here just of the how many actions you have per game and the value per action, just to try to like explain the difference. So you can see here that if you look at less actions per game, you could look at a player like Bojan Radulovic, who is a striker, who has a very high average because he's a very successful number 9, but he has not that many actions if you compare to Thomas Olila, who is a fullback, or
no, he's probably it's probably among the like bottom 10% when it comes to actions per 90.
Exactly. And if you look over here, it's more of center backs. Like Terry Yegbe is a very good center back in the Veikkausliiga. So, and if you're a good player in your position, you're usually in like the edge of this swarm here. So if you're a good center back, you're maybe here. Center midfielder, fullback, you're more in this area, and striker here. And if you're a striker that it's not very lucky and not very successful, you come closer to Origo. So like all the players that are performing worse, they're going towards Origo from their edge point of view. And from that, we take the action value for every game, and then we compare the action value for that player in that position and compare it to historical games for players on the same position. And then from that, we generate a ranking or you get a rating. And the rating is, now I see I have the wrong data set here.
Maybe you have several.
Yeah, I have several Veikkausliiga, of course. Here.
Maybe it's this one. Yeah, there it is.
From that, you get a rank. So you get a rating from 0 to 10 for every game, where 10 is excellent performance in comparison to historical performance in your position, and 0 is a bad performance. And then based on that, you get an average rating for the entire season that we convert to stars. So the rating 10 is a 5-star performance, and 9 4.5, and so on.
So this would be the top performance of the Vegas Liga this season now.
Yeah, so you see Bojan Radulovic here, 4-star. I think he scored the most goal, but we also have here Peter Michael from Nigeria that scored 17 goals. He's a bit like a very speedy, strong striker for VPS or VPS. And then the good thing about this rating is, since you compare only to the position, like a goalkeeper could have the star 5 rating, a forward could have the 5-star rating, but then it could be different within leagues. So here you see in the top 5 you have, or in the top here you have 3 strikers, but I know in Allsvenskan, for example, I think there's only 1 striker in the top 20, and so it depends on, like last year in Allsvenskan we had a very good striker season where Jeremejeff and Antonsson scored a lot of goals, but this year Thelin is on leading the goal scoring on like 14 goals in 30 games, so we haven't had as good strikers as historically.
No, exactly. Exactly. And I think you see that. I think maybe we have time to look at that as well, the Allsvenskan, but
yeah,
you see that also when you look at the average scores for the teams. Really interesting. I think so. Also in combination then with the avatars that we've talked about earlier, I mean, just by looking at this list, you get a very comprehensive view on which players are the best in Vegas League, and also what they do. So
yeah.
I honestly must say that I haven't watched one single minute Vegas Liga. I don't think you can do it in Sweden. Not legally. I try to do this the legal way. So that means it's not possible. And yeah, so I mean, I guess you have watched some of this because you work with the scouting as well. But I mean, it's obvious that just by looking at this, I would guess that Clinton Antwi is, as he is a progressor, is probably top 5% percentile is like in like carries, in progressive passes into the box, and he's probably creating a lot of threat by doing like one against one and so on. So
yeah, now this was a bad data set because I didn't. I just had these ones, but yeah, you're probably right. We can see I have a older one here. I think this is from our last. No, it's not. It's newer. Clinton.
He's not
or
there.
Not.
Maybe
I can refresh it.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But you're completely right. Like in the sense of that being the truth for those KPIs, and also you can see the difference from like Radulovic being a typical target, like a classic number 9, like you who might remember him from AIK. While Peter Michael is more of like he's attacking star, and that's the avatar for like a Kylian Mbappe type of striker.
And also like a point maker, right? Lots of goals, lots of assists.
Yeah, so like a successful target scores a lot of goals and maybe is part of like linking in attack. But an attacking star is like the key player when it comes to not only scoring goals but also generating chances. So we usually have like a lot of shot assists, high expected threat, and so on.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And I would guess that Radulovic then would probably be among the highest when it comes to your invention, the expected threat received, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And touches into the box.
Probably. Yeah. Exactly.
And then also like if you're a target or the avatar poacher, that is another striker avatar, then also you don't like the percentage of actions that are shots is very high. It could be like around 15-20% of your actions. So like that's That's also an important thing.
Yeah. The one, the position that I would maybe or miss right here is like pure midfielders. So, but I mean, if you would use the filter up there, you could just, I guess, go with the position CM or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then we see the best midfielders. Roman Eremenko, I think, based on me just doing data scouting on Vegas Liga for like 8 years, I think that's a name I recognize.
Yeah, I don't know if he plays for the Finnish national team anymore, but he used to at least.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
I think it's played in like Russia or Ukraine or something before as well. Lucas Lingman also, who played in Helsingborg.
Exactly.
He didn't really succeed there, but
no, he didn't.
In Finland before and after.
I think he's always had good numbers in Finland. Another one is, of course, I'm not sure if he even plays anymore. Do you know that? The greatest of all time, Moshtag Yagubi.
I don't know. I don't know. We can try to look him up. Okay. No. He hasn't played enough to be in this data set, at least.
No. Maybe he plays in the second division or something.
Yeah, or he is like moved to the Baltic and plays in Lithuania or something.
Yeah. No, exactly. He plays further down in the in PK 35. It's the third tier.
But one favorite that I like that I think would be good in Sweden, but he's a bit too old maybe to attract interest. Yeah. But that's Murillo from Ecuador or something. Very good wingback, fullback.
So you have him. On a short list, then.
Of course, of course.
No, but that's really I really like the rank because it's in one sense, I guess it's taking all the KPIs that we have and make a single value out of it. I guess that's the most basic explanation of it.
Exactly, and we have more features to the rank as well. So based on the player ratings, and you can do that for any data set. Now we had for an entire season, but you can do it like you can choose which games you want or do it over several seasons, and so on, of course, as well. But then we also have the average ranks for different positions. So if you
this is a good time to talk about NFL then, because you said that you wanted to talk about NFL.
Yeah, I had the game in the background this morning between Chicago Bears and Carolina Panthers, and I just think it's kind of interesting that Florida Panthers drafted first overall, and they drafted a quarterback, Bryce Young, and the Bears, they have their quarterback from the first round in 2020, Justin Fields, injured. So now they have their backup quarterback who plays, and that's kind of like fun with the stories in NFL. So he was not even good enough to get a contract in the Division 1 in college. So he had a contract, like he played the Division 2 college, and there's like 100 schools in Division 1, and then he was undrafted and was part of Chicago's roster, and now he's playing, and this is the second game where he has won over first round quarterback drafted in the same generation. So don't stop believing, or whatever you say, Tyson Bagent. interesting player to follow. And also, since he won 2 games, and before when Fields played, they just won 1. Like, will they continue to play Fields, or will they? I guess they will give Fields a go since they put a lot of money in him. But they need to put some pressure on Fields for sure.
Yeah, interesting. That's really interesting, because now with both the baseball season and the NASCAR season over, I definitely have time to follow some NFL.
Yeah.
On the evenings.
For me, it's like nice since as soon as I still watch a lot of football, but when I watch football, it's very easy that my work brain gets activated. But when I watch NFL, which is my second sport, it's only pure enjoyment. And that's a different thing. And I don't really have a favorite team. Like when I started following it, like, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, I thought like I rooted for Rangers in NHL when I was a kid, so I would choose Giants. But it's like it's been hard for me to have a favorite team as an adult. So I'm not really like cheering for any team. I'm just like enjoying the game, really.
Right. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. And then you can
That's
also
like me with baseball, because I really this season have really discovered baseball, and I still haven't got a favorite team. So
that's good.
So,
and you can kind of like have different favorite teams for every season as well.
Yeah.
It feels like weird in football terms, but then like maybe I like some players 1 year, so I like to watch that team. But I don't feel like bad when they lose. It's not like cheering for Sampdoria when they are in the bottom of Serie B.
No, exactly. So what do we have here? We have the average def rank, and I would assume that means that's the average star rank for that team for the players with the defensive position.
Exactly. So that it's basically every player that has played enough to be rated, and to play enough to be rated, you simply have to have enough actions. So maybe play at least 15 minutes or something like that. But it's not really dependent on minutes, more of actions. But you get the sense. And then every player that has played that much gets weighed into this ranking. So when it comes to defending, Djurgården, Malmö, and Elfsborg is the one that has like have had the top defenders, and this is purely based on performance. So I think this will correlate pretty good to which teams that have conceded the least goals, and that's a big part of it, of course. Like defenders that defend good, they should concede less goals, but that's not like the entire truth. And then I mean, like most positions, like forward is, if you play 4-3-3, it's the wingers and the striker. If you play 4-4-2, it's the 2 strikers. Then you can see instead that Häcken is the only team that has like an average 4-star rating, but they didn't have 4 in defense. And I think that kind of makes sense as well, from Häcken being very successful in generating chances. But at least during the fall, they have had issues defending compared to the other top teams. A goalkeeper ranking is, in some sense, it's only the one player, and in some sense, it's like, I don't know how many of these teams that have had at least 2 goalkeepers playing, but all the goalkeepers that have played weigh into this rating. But this is maybe the rating that is mostly based on one player, since it's only one position. Now
I think the goalkeeper ranking. Oh, that's okay. I think the goalkeeper ranking is I think all what we've seen so far is really interesting in several ways. One is, of course, that it's obvious that it's really hard to get 5 stars, because you would look at the average 0 to 10 rating over the season, and I mean, since it is an average of all players having played in the team on that position, you will probably never see anyone who gets like consistent super high. I would guess that it's a bit easier for a defender to score consistent high numbers. I think we can get to that a bit later today, but I think it will be hard to see any team getting a 5-star here, because since it's an average of all players playing on over an entire season.
No, exactly.
Maybe you can see 5 stars after 5 early in the season. If you have a team that have won 5 straight games, haven't conceded more than 1 goal, maybe you can get 5 stars for the goalkeeper.
Exactly. As it's designed now, that's the case. Like you could see it early in the season, but over an entire season, it will be very hard to have that consistency.
Yeah. And it's also worth to mention here. I think I noticed here that you have, if you sort a goalkeeper rank again, you would get Friedrich in Kalmar. The only one has 3.5 stars, and then you have 3 keepers with 3 stars, and that's not in order. So that's basically random. Because when we've looked into this, we have actually seen that Valdimarsson in Elfsborg is the 2nd highest rated. So this is all rounded to the nearest integer or half integer.
Yeah, and what I think we capture really good with the action value, since it like determines all the action very well, is that the goalkeeper is based on much more than just pure shot stopping, and I think that's what like we know that Friedrich is a good goalkeeper with his feet and more, and that adds on to his values. That's like it's positive for Kalmar in their offensive style of play, and also in defending, since they can control the ball well that they have him. No. So now when he's not going to play in Kalmar anymore, as from what is said, then we'll see what happens next year. And I think it's going to be a hard position to replace, at least like from a Swedish point of view. I don't think there's many upcoming Swedish goalkeepers that have his qualities. So
I agree, but I think also that when Kalmar took in Friedrich with Rydström, I think he said that the main reason for them choosing him was that he actually was really good with his feet.
Yeah.
And I think that's really a piece, or I think that's a very important thing that I think we should talk about that some other time, because then we will be sitting here all night. But to me, a goalkeeper should be used for much more than just shot stopping, because shot stopping is just such a small part of all the actions that occur during a game. I'm actually thinking of doing a bit of a study on that tomorrow, where you look at just the sheer amount of actions that happen during a game and how many of those actually are shot stoppings. So if you look at that and decide to measure a goalkeeper only based on those actions, then I think it would be fair to say that that's the most underused player in a football team. Because if you only use a goalkeeper to stop shots, then you're missing out on an opportunity to have a player that can do so much more over a game.
Yeah.
Because a football game is so much more than just shot stopping.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think that's part of development of the game, and also from the rule change that you're allowed to pass inside your own penalty area from a goal kick, like the opponent can't be there, but your center backs can be, so it's like easier to start up the attack all the way from with a short pass on the goalkeeper, and then keep possession and involve your goalkeeper and be able to push the other players higher. So I think that's one of the most interesting tactic developments. And if we look 10 years from now or more, a goalkeeper will have to be way better with their feet on average than they are today.
Exactly. I think so too, definitely.
But I quit sharing my screen, and I thought maybe you can take over and show some more of our new features.
Sure.
Maybe the line chart that we did yesterday, or
yeah, I will do that. I will press present here, share screen, and I can select a window, right? Share. Do you see my screen? I think so, right?
I do. I see the GIF Sundsvall theme.
Yeah. I will use my GIF Sundsvall team.
I want
I hope
silver.
that's okay. For our international viewers, that's probably a bit far-fetched, but
Yeah,
they had the
very fun.
presentation. They had the presentation video a few years ago where they actually have a guy who's named Silver in last name, and that works in English as well. So they made the presentation video in a jewelry shop, or jewelry shop, and they just went in and said, "I want silver," and he appeared.
Yeah.
The best presentation video made in Sweden ever.
I think the top ones is that one, and also the Jönköping Södra one when they're like filming a dressing room and it's like a bit dark, and then like just the young guy appears in a corner, and it feels like, you know, they have like kidnapped him, and it's like they're showing it to like get some money to send him back. It's like really creepy, and I don't know if it's intended, but it's like a classic. I don't remember which player it was, but that's one of my other favorites.
That's fine. So yeah, another thing that I thought we should talk about today that actually is related to the rating. Oh, sorry, I have obviously everything in Swedish. I'll actually change to English. And yeah, a new data set, and I have a new metric, but this is actually because, you know, I've been around for way too long in this game, and back when I started doing analytics, we shared a lot of work on different blogs, and we had quite an open community. It was really fun. Could follow a few like analysts who did a lot of good work, and all of them work in different either analytics companies or for clubs these days. But I'm not sure where I wanted to come with that, but I think that has changed. A lot of the new metrics and a lot of new innovation is a bit more secret these days than they were like 8 years ago when I started. And that's really not strange at all, because it has gotten so much bigger, and there's so much more money in analytics today than it was then when it was new. So I think people have stopped sharing their best work for free, which makes total sense to me.
Yeah,
total
to me as
sense.
Well.
So I have actually, what I wanted to say was that I have shared in public because I made a presentation for the Opta Pro Forum, which was really honorable to me to get to present at the Opta Pro Forum, which I still think is like the biggest analytics forum.
Yeah.
And the idea was to,
after the PlaymakerCon, I used to have to say that.
Of course, the PlaymakerCon is nowadays, of course, number one. But the thing was that I had an idea of trying to find a metric that measures how consistent the player is. So can we measure consistency? Because I think that's really interesting, especially when, I mean, I think that we have like a preconception that younger players are more eager or tend to be more inconsistent in performance. So can be really good one day and then really bad the next day, while older players are more consistent. And also, of course, maybe it's a bit also that you can say that forwards perhaps are a bit in general more inconsistent than defenders and so on. But the idea for me was, can we find a metric that measures this? And yeah, of course, one of the things that I looked at then was in economics and in stock analysis, you have a term called Sharpe ratio, which basically is an idea of looking at the volatility of a stock. That's basically how much the price differs from day to day, and also how successful it is. That's really just a measurement of, is the stock improving in value or is it declining in value? But So that's the idea of the Sharpe ratio. It's basically measuring, do we get success, and do we do it in a volatile way or in a stable way? And what you want to see is, of course, a high valued stock that doesn't move that much from day to day. That's like more stable. So the idea basically was to take that, the idea of the Sharpe ratio, and apply it to a football metric. And that's where the ranking comes in, that you have implemented now in the platform. So as soon as we had the rating, I could implement now the Sharpe ratio, or as I call it in football terms, because of course, now when I have published it, it's out there. Anyone can steal it. I haven't, like, there's no way to copyright it. But if you steal it, I'm going to fine you and beat you up if you don't call it lead mark index.
Yes.
And so the lead mark index right now, it's just taking the rating for every game of the season, looking at how much that differs from game to game. And the lower it differs, so what I basically say is that if it's stable, let's say that it's better to be stable at a 7 than to have a 9 every second game and a 6 the other games.
Yeah.
Or no? Well, it might be, but you get the idea. It's better to be stable at a somewhat lower level than to have really high tops and really lower bottoms. So the measurement is an idea of how consistent you are in relation to your average point. So the average stars.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really powerful metric to use if you want to evaluate players and if you want to scout players. I mean, that could definitely be something if you have 2 players that you're both are considering making an offer for. Which one is the more consistent performance? That could, of course, be a decisive factor for one of the players.
Exactly, yeah. And I think it's like if you buy a player that's not maybe is young and is have a high potential, but it's not that consistent, and you make the player consistent, then you will raise the value of that player stock a lot.
Yeah.
But then you have to make the analysis that you can make him stable. And I think the younger the player is, the more likely, and that's usually what we see with good transfers from young players. I think sometimes, since young players can be valued from the potential, but it's they maybe are not that consistent with delivery, and if they don't become consistent, they won't become the top stars.
No, I agree.
Which league are you doing?
I'm doing the Veikkausliiga again, because I think that's fun. I'm adding age as well, so we can actually look into that. And I'll add the Playmaker rank, and I'll add the index. I think I'm just going to go with these 3 and press save. And now I'm going to get another beer. But I'll be with you because I have my Bluetooth on.
Yep.
Talk to me.
Yeah, I can go back to the NFL. The question is, like, this season is a weird season because Patrick Mahomes is Kansas City Chiefs. They have a very good record. They have 6-2 at the moment, I think. But this season, he hasn't carried the team. It's more been the defense, and the defense has lost last year a weakness and a question mark if they could win the Super Bowl with the defense. But now they have the top defense in the NFL. So the question is, will Patrick Mahomes and the offense come back in form to be able to win this year? And one thing that is very interesting, what I like about American sport, is the salary cap. So when they had Patrick Mahomes on a rookie contract, they had enough money to pay other stars like wide receiver Tyreek Hill, that is in Miami now and still a good player. But when Patrick Mahomes got his contract, they couldn't afford him anymore. So now they have like a bunch of young, talented, but not very experienced. So I think, then the question is like, this year when he has a lot of rookie and second-year players, like, can he perform with them? And yeah, they are 6-2, so they have played well, but can he win the title with them as well, or will it be another team? Maybe Eagles will get their revenge because they have a 7-1 record, I think, in the other conference. So
right.
it could be the same final. But
what do we have with Minnesota Vikings? How are they performing?
I think they were 5-4 or 4-4.
Okay.
They had a very tough start, and then Kirk Cousins got injured, and it's actually kind of interesting because before last weekend, Kirk Cousins got injured and he couldn't play, so they played backup quarterback Hall, and then they traded for Arizona Cardinals quarterback Josh Dobbs, and he had only been with the team for like a couple of days. And he like the day before he sat down and learned the playbook, but he hadn't like learned it enough. And then Hall got injured, so they put Dobbs in, and Dobbs won the game. He had 3 touchdowns, and Minnesota won. So
cool.
That's really cool. So we'll see. And I like Dobbs because when I was studying exchange semester in the US, he was playing college, and he studied aerospace like I did, and that's quite uncommon that a quarterback has an aerospace degree.
That's thank really you cool. for that background information. That will be really fun to follow.
Yeah, so I like him. Winter IPA.
Everything is mirrored here, so I have a bit hard. Sigtuna, it's one of Sweden's oldest cities.
Yep.
They have a brewery and they make a Christmas IPA. Let's see. So let's look into the lead mark index then. I'm just gonna go with the table to start with. I think I have the lead mark index in Veikkaus Liga here, and this one, I guess we will recognize this one right now. We have the
rank.
Yeah, and the rank, and then we also have then the lead mark index here. I also added the age of the players here. So the lead mark index then would probably tell you another story than the rank. I still think that we will see some of the highest ranked players here, but we still get an idea of players who are consistently performing. What we can see here, of course, is that then we would also see that when we sort this way, we see that we have like lots of forwards in the top, but when we sort with the index, and we get actually center back being the most consistent high performance, if we see it that way, or say it that way. So we could visualize this then. That would basically be a way to see how has Matej Radecki performed per game. Let me do that on a new tab. And this is a new feature. We built this yesterday. So now you could, in the platform, do a line chart. Let's select the same data set. No, I have to do a new data set. Sorry, I forgot. Let me create a new data set, because then we need to do Radecki. So
is he the brother? Is he related to the goalkeeper that plays in Bayer Leverkusen?
No, I don't know.
I have to check that up.
Do that.
Actually, a very good goalkeeper. We'll see.
Yeah, he is. But we do event data instead, of course, because we need to do this on one single player. And so I will do...
he is the brother of Lucas Radecki.
Lucas, yeah, he is. Cool.
That's the only line on personal life on his English Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah. Radecki brothers, Luka Radecki and Thomas Radecki, are also professional footballers. That's the only information.
I think you should edit it and add lead. He also has the highest lead mark index in Veikkaus Liga 2020.
Yeah, I definitely should do
that. We do event data instead, and then I can just save. I don't need to select any actions actually, because this is considered metadata. So this will be probably really fast. Yeah, like that. And now I can select Radecki here. And what I get now is a line chart, and without selecting anything else, I would get the minute he has played per game over the entire season. So if nothing else, you would get an idea of how many minutes he's played per game. It's probably which is the case, of course, for defenders. Most of the time, they don't get substituted that often. It's probably been substituted here and here. But this is what I think is really cool. Now we can also look at the rating per game for Radecki, and then we will see how his rating has been over the course of the season. And of course, if we have several seasons, we can track it even further back in time. But yeah, by looking at this, you can definitely see that he's been really consistent. He's scored lower than 6 one time over the entire season, and he's been above 8 several times.
Yeah.
So this is actually, I would say this is really impressive. I looked at Marcus Danielsson in Allsvenskan yesterday, who's one of the highest scorers in Allsvenskan in Sweden, but I'd say that this actually is even better.
Yeah, this is really, really good.
Yeah, so this is really a way to measure how consistent a player is. I guess we could take someone further down just to compare. Could take someone who's compared. This is like, maybe it's a bit more fun to look. We could look at Ashley Coffey, for instance. He's actually been in Sweden. He's 3.5 stars, so that's actually still quite good. But he has a relatively low lead mark index. If you look at, I've scrolled really far down, so we could look at Ashley Coffey instead. And I could just change this data set. Could still have it named Radecki, but I could change this to Ashley Coffey just for this time. And yeah, you see here, it's actually been down really low. It's probably played really, but I mean, this is a completely different story. I mean, you can see this in real time, that his performances has been really high and sometimes really, really low.
Yeah, and he had a good period there in the summer. It feels like he had a couple of good games there in June, July, and then but he started the season pretty poorly, except from some. And since I don't know if his avatar is like poacher or target or whatever it could be, but
target.
Yeah, and that's like, it's pretty common for a target forward that their rating could fluctuate like that, because like if they are in games where they have a few actions, and if they don't succeed to like control possession or come to shooting opportunities, their grade will decrease a lot, because that's their job. So, and when the rating is good, they scored or
exactly. And I guess you also receive the ball, and then you strike a few backwards passes as well. That's also like included. So it could be that, but still, I mean, it's really interesting to think that, of course, now that we talked about, let's do a scatter plot of that data set as well, so we can explore like we can do age on one, and we could do the lead mark index on another. Because I think that we have a preconception of that, younger players in general are more volatile than older players. Not sure that you can see any clear
did you add
correlation,
the trend line,
actually.
or? Yeah, you did that.
Yeah, I added it now. I double click now and it's 0. So there's no correlation at all. We can kill that preconception right away. There's no such thing. And I think I've seen that a bit when I've done bigger studies, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, I've seen something similar when I've had several seasons that you could see it, but I don't think it's not correlating very well.
No.
And we had
another way here is to look at the lead mark index. Yeah, that's definitely a thesis about that would be interesting. Now, when we have the rank, could look into it on a like bigger data set. I could change age here to the rank, because no, maybe I should do the other way around, the rank and index. So this is also interesting, of course, when you look at the ranks, then then you would get one rank per number, 3, 3.5, 4, and so on, and the lead mark index here. And this is basically, so with the one who has an average rating of 3 stars, you would have the one who is the most volatile down here, and you will have the one who is most consistent 3-star performer up here. So this is another way of looking into the data and also to use it, because maybe I'm content with looking at players who are 3 stars in a league that is better or than the one that I'm actually scouting in, or scouting for. Then could be interesting to look for 3 stars or even 2.5-star performers, because we know that in our league, who is lower ranked, he'll probably be a 4-star. Then it could be really interesting to segment only the 3-star players. So could look at, for instance, Reisen here is obviously the most consistent 3-star performer. Let's do that.
And you could compare rating also, for when a player meets top teams and teams lower down in the table, for example.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that also. Exactly. If you want to look into further configuring your data set, yeah, that could definitely be done. I think that this is a bit of a, what should I say, introduction to our new metrics here, rating and.
It's a very good introduction. And if you're watching this and you want to try our platform, reach out.
Do that. Do we have anything else today? I'm not sure.
I don't know either, and I have to meet up my girlfriend, so I have to go in 6 minutes. So I don't think I have time to really show anymore. But what we talked about before, I think we've showed all of it. So that's
I think nice. So too.
Maybe we can just end it and show 3 stars of the game. That could be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't talk about
maybe that. Maybe I also shouldn't. I haven't tasted this yet. I need to taste this first.
Yeah, taste that.
Yeah, this is more of an IPA. It has a smoky taste back on the tongue.
Yeah.
Quite smoky actually, but not so Christmassy, so to speak. But a smoky IPA. Not bad at all. Any league you want to look at 3 stars of the game? Should we do?
I don't know. Should we do our Superettan maybe, or we can look at the guys' game when they got promoted?
Okay, let's do that. So we have the game report, and our customers, I guess, are pretty familiar with this game report. You have the expected goals over time, and you also have the expected threat over time, and you can change to the momentum graph.
Yep,
tells you.
I really like the momentum graph.
Me too. I think that's super powerful, and just tells you a story about the game just looking at that image.
Yeah.
And talking about American sports, this is of course inspired by the National Hockey League, where we have the 3 stars of the game. And our super favorite, Axel Norén, had 8.8. So that's basically a 4.5, right? If you would look into our star rating system.
Yeah. August Wengberg, one of my favorite players overall, because I think I like his play style. He's been there for a very long time, and he plays with his shirt tucked into his pants, which I really like as well. Yeah, 7.9 with Åberg.
Yeah, nice. Maybe we should look at the crazy game also in Allsvenskan. This one.
Yeah.
Because the expected threat over time here is really interesting. So when Degerfors had 2-1 here, and then both teams, especially Elfsborg, knew that we have nothing to lose here. We can go for the second goal, and they did. But they had lots of control or field tilt or expected threat dominance, if you would say.
Yeah.
The last quarter of the game. This is super high.
Like, look at Sondre Rosbach's grade. Like, he did some really amazing saves, and that's a very high grade, 9.6.
And I really like that we can have like a goalkeeper who can be the star of the game.
Yeah.
Even conceding 2 goals, so he still did 8 saves then.
Yeah, and he had some really good saves, like close to goal, when like he had some save in the end where he got his fingers on it and it touched the post, and you thought like the player just shot in the post, but then you saw he saved it, and you were like, so he did a good performance. Not enough to keep Degerfors in Allsvenskan, but I don't think you should lack him too much. Like, he did a good game.
No, and it was a crazy, amazing game to watch.
Yeah.
No, but great. I think we have so much more to show, but I think we can do that another time. Another thing that I really thought about that we need to look into really soon is, of course, the spider. Just dig more into the spider, because we see that is a feature that's used very, very often in our platform.
Yeah.
But let's do that next time.
Yeah, let's do that next time. If you have any questions or comments, reach out on Twitter. I think it's the most easy. And then look out for the next after work. Maybe we try something other Christmassy. I don't know, more beer, or we try the new taste of julskum, or something else. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.